I need help wiring a single-phase AC motor to a drum switch. I need it run clockwise and counterclockwise. It is a Balder VL3504 motor. http://www.balder.com/catalog VL3504 #22 specs %22 and drum switch http://www.mcmaster.com/#7065K22/100 FCT4. This will run in low voltage and will be plugged into a wall outlet. Regarding the outlet, should the mains plug/wire be two-prong or three-prong? I have pictures to show but don't know how to upload. Some pictures, most notably the diagram.
Welcome. My name is would be glad to assist. Thanks for the details. Do need a little more on the drum switch, as Mcmaster Carr is not the best with providing details on what they sell, since it is resale situations. Look on the inside cover PF the drum switch and get the contact configuration, or it should also be with the documentation that came with it. Posting pictures is easiest. Then I can make a diagram for the connections. Let me know and we can continue, thanks.
Unfortunately, I don't have the drum switch yet. I'll post a reply as soon as I do. I was able to find out the drum switch is made by Relay and Control Corporation. I should have the physical switch Monday or Tuesday. I will update with pictures then. It looks like it may take longer than I thought to get the drum switch, and I may miss my deadline if I use that. Is there a way to wire this motor for full reversing using two light switches like in the picture attached? Members in my group were able to get it to spin clockwise but not counterclockwise.
Okay, thanks. Let me know when it arrives, as it is needed to determine the wiring, since there is nothing available that can be found elsewhere on the configuration. Unfortunately, two standard switches cannot be used because of the motor wiring. Drum switches are designed with contacts that make and break in three different directions: FWD, off, rev. The wires connect as needed so that the power is supplied in two different ways, and using standard switches, you only have one way on each. If connected with standard switches, you would be powering both directions at one time and the motor would not operate except one direction only. Below is only an example of the hundreds I have installed, so you get the idea. Yours will be different.
I now have the drum switch and am attaching the pictures, trying to get this wired up as soon as possible. Thanks for all your help so far, Tommy.
Okay, thanks. Got all the information. Unfortunately, the drum switch will not work with your motor wiring for operation in the low voltage mode at 120 volts. The contacts do not provide the proper switching. The 240 volt mode could be used on this drum switch. In order to run at 120 volts, you need a different drum switch, which I could recommend a few that fit the situation. Wish the news was better. Let me know if you wish to use another or a different voltage.
That is unfortunate. If I wire it for 240, can I still use it in the USA and have it running fine? This is being plugged into an outlet, not a dedicated line or anything like that. Whether yes or no, I think it would be good to have the 240V wiring diagram. I suppose it would also be really helpful if you could list a couple common drum switches that'll work. This is a project that's due Thursday, and if this drum switch won't work, then I'm going to have to try to hunt one down that will work at an electrical supply store tomorrow.
The 240 volt wiring is shown below on the blue link. The one you have will not work on 120 volts due to the configuration of the contacts. These drum switches will work on 120 volts, but getting one local would be almost impossible unless you have a W. Grainger store nearby. 2x440 RS1 AMS RS1 ASH. I will work up a diagram and confirm they work in the meantime also.
Thank you so much, and I do in fact have a W. Grainger Industrial Supply about 7 minutes from my location.
Okay, they should have a 2x440 or equivalent. The contact arrangement looks like this. Diagram for the proper drum switches below. 120 volt connections are shown.
Thank you for all your help, Tommy. We were able to get it running.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.